This video is probably gonna be long, y'all, so if y'all got y'all popcorn, y'all Coca-Cola or your coffee, whatever, and you want to come back to this, you can. But the part about me is about to get real. Like, I don't really know how much y'all can handle me saying. Hey guys, it's me, Jazz, and this is my 2-month postpartum update video. And I swear, like, this is probably like the 30th, 40th take I've taken of this video because kids keep barging in. I'm talking about Bella and Ava. So this just gonna be raw at this point. What? Ava, you don't know how to do that?
No. You just show this.
Okay.
How to take off. Okay,
come here, Ava. I can't wait till these people get to see you. Lift your arms up. Let's just. So I have little Nate in my arms, and I'm using my auto thing, like this little button right here, right? So I got him in this arm. This is what it's like having 3 kids. I got him in this arm while I'm what you doing? Why are you naked? Y'all, what y'all about to do? Y'all getting in the tub? No, if you're gonna be naked like that, you need to get in the tub. Go ahead. Okay, so having a boy is totally different than having a little girl. Of course, you know, the anatomy and everything is different, and that's been a struggle. I'm gonna get to that. But also, for me, it's about having a 3rd child, and it's like starting all over again because the last time I had a child was like 4 years ago, and that was with Ava, and she's a girl. So this has been like starting over again. So of course it's just like really exciting, but it's all brand new to me. And a lot of what I'm gonna go over with this 2-month update is about having my son and the answers to my own questions that I had. I hope help you guys out that I didn't really get the answers to the way I needed. And one of those things is in regards to circumcision. So when I had my son in the hospital, it was like maybe a day later, about a day and a half later, and I did not know who was going to actually circumcise him. And I later found out that it is not the pediatrician who's on staff, it's the OB that's on staff that day or on call that day who does the circumcision. So they came in, they said, hey, we're going to do your son's vitals and check on him while he's in the nursery. He was already back there getting his vitals. Do you want him to be circumcised? And I said, sure. Now, prior to that, I did some research. I kind of stumbled upon the process and saw how it was done, and I didn't really like that. And I was concerned about him being hurt, and I was like, oh my God, and how am I gonna care for that? And it just looked painful, like it looked barbaric to me. And despite that, everybody was kind of like, you should go ahead and get it done. It's a healthier way. My mom, who is into medicine, was like, you don't want him to be a 30 or 40-year-old man wanting to get it done, and it's gonna be way more painful for him then than it would be now. He's gonna have like 40 sutures, exaggeration I'm sure, but that's just not something you want him to have to deal with. So I was like, okay. And then my husband, he's like, he's getting it done because of his own reasons and things that we discussed that he felt was important for a boy to have it done. And he's like, overall health wise and hygiene wise, that's just what you want to do. So y'all get where I'm going, right? Okay. So I said, okay, I will get it done. So they took him back there, they brought him back. I felt horrible. Like, I just remember like feeling like I wanted to cry because I'm like, I'm so sorry I did this to you. So anyways, they said basically all you gotta do, squeeze some petroleum jelly on it, put it on the gauze, put it on his little Peter Weeder, and he'll be good. I'm like, okay, thanks. So they didn't show me, they just told me. So I kind of had to go with what I knew the first few times, but the nurse, my night nurse who I had, was like, she would remind you of like your grandma or your favorite older auntie that knows how to do everything and just was so loving to me. So she showed me how to do it, and I was like, okay, bet. So this is what you're gonna need. And I got the parts because she gave me a gang of stuff to take home, more than what I needed, but just to make sure I was good. So what you will most likely get is this stuff here. This is the hospital version because Again, when people would tell me, they're just like, oh, you're just gonna need some gel, some jelly or whatever. And I'm thinking they talking about Vaseline. No, they're talking about this. This is the petroleum jelly that they gave me in the hospital. It's crab petroleum jelly, a skin protectant. And they gave me these, which are gauze. So I was told to use, one lady told me to use 2, but the one that I was talking about, she told me just to use 1. You don't need all of that. And she said to squeeze out the whole thing on here, mush it together, and put, this is after you clean him, of course, you know, make sure he's good and clean, like make sure his bottom is clean. She told me not to wipe his private part, like the penis part, with the wipe. Just, you know, gently, like don't touch the part that's been cut. Just around him, cleaning. And then put the jelly, squeeze this out. I can't really lift because I'm holding him. But put it all in here, rub it together, and then just lay it on top of it. It's really important to make sure that you have a lot of the jelly on here. Not like, I'm not saying like make it so saturated, but you need to have enough on here so that his wound doesn't stick to this, because that's going to be painful for him after that numbing cream, the numbing that they put on him goes away. And make sure that you ask the doctor to numb your son before they do the circumcision. But anyways, so that's basically it. And when you change him, when he pee-pees, you just take it off and then do the whole process over again. But I did not know that. I didn't know what this, when they said gauze, I didn't know what it looked like. I didn't know it looked like this. And it comes in a pack like this. Like, I didn't know that. And someone could have verbally explained it to me. They could just say it's a square shaped gauze. Because I'm very, maybe it's because I'm just very detail oriented. Maybe that's it. But that's basically the process. And it took my son about maybe a week and a half from when he came home for it to fully heal, I believe. And another thing was in regards to my son's umbilical cord. So the hospital told me not to put any alcohol on it. Now, granted, when I had Ava, I was told to put alcohol on it with a Q-tip, just clean around it. But this hospital told me not to, so I didn't. And it took my son's umbilical cord maybe a little bit over 4 weeks for it to come off. It didn't come off until maybe a week before his second appointment that we had. So you had the appointment when you go and initially you let the doctor see him, then you had the whole month appointment. So it was like about 4 weeks for him, for his umbilical cord to come off. And what happened was, I was like, this is kind of weird. It's just still sitting there. So I called the pediatrician, and then they were like, it should have came off within about 2 weeks. So then they were like, go ahead and put the alcohol, go ahead and start cleaning around it. And then it fell off within like about a couple days, because by then it was like hanging. Let's see, another thing within this 2 months that I've been dealing with having my boy is the pee-pee thing. I will change my son's diaper so many times, not because he's peeing in a diaper, it's because like he's not soaking a diaper. Like a little pee will get in it, but all the pee will end up like on his side, the front, the back. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? Like, I just changed you. So what I've been being told is that you gotta make sure, and if y'all got any other tips, if y'all mommies out there got boys, y'all have some other tips to share, please help me out. But I was told, like, you gotta make sure his thing is down, not up, I guess, or to the side, I don't know. But I've been trying to do that, and sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. But if y'all have any other tips, that would be great. But so is that part. And then the other thing is him peeing on me. Like my son, I swear, like I've gotten sprayed like a good 5, 6, 7 times. Like I don't know when to just time it. Like my timing is completely off. Like he sprayed me when he's been taking a bath, and it's just like a fountain, like just like that. And he'll get me, like I've had to wash my sheets and change my bedding like so many times because, and my husband like, you need to put a tent on him, you need to put a tent. And my husband is referring to putting like a wipe over it. But I'm like, I don't want to just waste the wipe for that. Like I feel like I'm wasting away, but I'd rather just use the wipes to wipe him. But he be telling me you need to cover him because he's gonna pee, and he gets me every single time. And some people say like, well, you'll know because he'll look like he's ready to do it, and he'll do it whether he look like he's ready to do it or not. I just get sprayed. So if you guys have any other tips on how you know, I don't know if there's any other ways to know, but I try my best to do it. And I think it's a timing thing because I will like try to, I guess I'm doing too much. With my girls, you know, you just clean them and you let them like air out a little bit, and I'm like, you know, folding up the diaper. Maybe that's it. Maybe I don't got time to try to fold the diaper up, the old one up. I need to hurry up and change them. I don't know. Share your tips. I'm all ears. I'll try whatever sounds reasonable to not get sprayed. So that's that. With Ava, when I had her, she wanted to be by herself. She was so independent. My son, he likes to be up under his mommy. He likes, for me, like right now, I'm holding him. He likes to be up under his mommy, and he sleeps in the bed with me. And before that, I had him in his DockATock because I'm trying to see how to explain this to you guys. He was in a DockATock. I'll post a picture. And that thing was promoted as if it was supposed to be the safe way for him to sleep. Now, some of you guys might have saw my Insta story about that. It was promoted here as it was a place for rest. What does rest mean? It means to sleep, right? A place to rest, a safer option, is fully breathable. I saw all the celebrities using it, posting on Instagram, so I thought, hey, this would probably be a good item. Now, this is part of the reason why I think, like my mom was saying, nah, I'm gonna wait until after this product has been on the market for a long time before I use it, so that way if anything comes back, we know. Well, it came back that this is not a safe sleep service, and his pediatrician told me to stop using it because it's actually a really good suffocation device because of the sides. It's like a bumper still. You know how they stopped having us use bumpers in the baby's crib? Well, this is the same difference. Basically, it's just they're wrapped around in it, as you can see if you're looking at it. Now, I have not had any issues with my son at all, like turn his head towards it or anything like that. But my son has begun to roll over into his stomach. And my son's neck is a little strong. Like he'll hold his head up, you know, for a while now, but there are babies who might not be able to do that, or who might not have it where if their head's down too long, they can pick it up. So I can see how that could be a concern. And at this point, we have stopped using it. And now it's Operation Baby Sleep in Your Own Bed, which we're going to do tonight. And that's going to be rough, so I'm going to have to drink some coffee and just be patient, because he's going to scream because he likes being up under his mommy. Like he likes me to hold him, and I don't like to put him down, and I don't think that I should. Like, this 2 months have been a bit of a challenge emotionally too, because the first couple of weeks he was a newborn, so I was holding him a lot. And I'm also breastfeeding. I'm nursing him. And a lot of people were saying, like, you need to put him down. And these were mostly men. And I'm like, oh, why? He's fresh out the womb. He's only 2 weeks old. I'm not putting him down. But they were saying you need to put him down. You're going to spoil him. Boys are different. Blah, 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 blah. And I just did not feel like that was until I was ready. So now I'm ready. And this is going to be a bit of a challenge, but I think that's one of the things that has been something, is like people feel like because I have a boy, it's like I gotta toughen him up. But I'm like, how do you toughen up an infant, like, or a baby or a child? Like, I'm like, he's not 6 or 7, like he's not a big kid. So I realized that because I'm a mother and I have a boy, that there's going to be some challenges there dealing with the men, you know what I'm saying? And that's a whole nother topic, and I think Nate and I probably will do a video about that. But I'm like, I'm holding my baby. Sorry, not sorry. I'm holding my son, and that's it. Thoughts? Share. Let me see what else has happened with my son these 2 months. He's growing like crazy. My son right now is 2 months and 2 weeks, and he's already in like 6 to 9 month clothing and the Children's Place brand, and then like Carter's and everything else, he's in 3 to 6 months. And the doctor has said that he's in the 90th percentile for his weight and his head size, and he's a 95th percentile for his height. So he's gonna be really tall. And a lot of y'all have said he looks like Bella, and I agree. It's so crazy because I'm like, Bella? But he's the boy version. So it's gonna be really cool to see how he grows up, like as he grows into his looks even more, how he's gonna turn out. As far as his personality type is concerned, for me, he always looks at me with these scrunched up eyebrows and look at me like, I am your third child, you ain't got this yet. Like, he looks up at me like, seriously, like when I will hold him, and again, this is all, getting to know him getting to know me, he would not like the way that I held him. So I'm like, okay, I can't hold you like this. This is kind of what I learned with the other two. He don't like that. There's a certain way that he likes to be held, and I've had to learn that. He's starting to babble and coo and laugh and smile and all of those cool things, which has been amazing. He's starting to drool and find his hands and stuff. So we'll probably have some teeth coming at the mark that they say, which is about between 4 and 7 months, but I think he's going to be at 4. He hasn't really lost a lot of his hair in the back. He did lose some in the front, but it seems to start to thicken up. What else about him? I think that's about it. Now about me. And this video is probably gonna be long, y'all. So if y'all got y'all's popcorn, y'all Coca-Cola or your coffee, whatever, and you want to come back to this, you can. But the part about me is about to get real. Like, I don't really know how much y'all can handle me saying, or what all y'all want to know, or what's TMI. I try to be as authentic as I can. But I will say that my recovery has been the hardest in comparison to how it was with the last two. The delivery part was easy. The recovery part was hard. With the recovery part, like, my son was a big boy. My son was 8 pounds, 7 ounces, and 21.5 inches long. And I tore all of that stuff, and I was incredibly sore, but my organs on the inside, I believe, were like shifted around. And one of the organs that was hard to control during this process was my organ used to pee. And my organ used to go number 2. And on top of that, I ended up developing mastitis during the breastfeeding process because my son was just like eating. And then my boobs just got big. And I'm like, okay, I might need to go back and refer to one of my old videos on how to do this. And I did try to like eliminate all of the milk that was built up, but I was producing so much more milk. Even now that everything has been rectified, even when he's nursing, I just produce so much at such a rapid speed that it was not really a way that I could have. I probably didn't get to the issue fast enough before I could resolve it, before it could develop into mastitis, which it did. So I ended up getting mastitis, and mastitis basically is an infection in your breast where your milk ducts get plugged up, and it causes an infection, and you got to take an antibiotic for it. I did not have to go to see my OB to get the prescription because I've had it before and I knew what the symptoms were, so I just called them and they called in the prescription and I got it. And within about 24 to 48 hours, I began to feel better. And you basically feel like you have the flu when you get it. Like, your nipples are completely sore, they're cracked. I forgot to put the darn cream on my nipples. Let me show you that. It's this. Ladies, please, if you are going to be nursing, please make sure after you take your showers, between the feedings, please get this. Please. I forgot to get this. And this could have probably helped me. This soothes and protects your sore nipples. And my nipples will get sore because he was just eating, like cluster feeding. That's when I think things kind of went downhill too. But this right here is what you need. And gosh, I lost my train of thought. But anyways, so it feels like you have the flu. Your nipples are sore, they're cracked and bleeding. All of those things that people probably don't want to hear, but that's a part of breastfeeding, and you have to keep nursing through it. Like, you can't not nurse through it just because your nipples are hurting. Like, and trust me, the reward is greater than the pain. If you are watching this, keep pushing through, keep pushing through, keep pushing through. After you take your medicine or after it's relieved, you will feel better and it'll work out. Like, when I would nurse him, and this did not happen when I had mastitis with Bella, but when I would nurse him, you could feel when the milk is coming through. Like, I could feel it. It felt like it was coming from my underarms all the way down to my nipple, released to him. And it would hurt. Like, when I could feel the milk coming down, like, it would hurt. But I knew that I wanted to breastfeed and I was going to get through this and it was going to be okay. So I'm telling y'all, even if it feels like that, keep pushing through. Even if your nipples is cracked bleeding, keep pushing through. It really does get better. Because after I got my medicine, after I started to use this, I started feeling way better. I'm listening to the girls, y'all. They in the tub. I'm gonna make sure nobody trying to drown nobody. Did any of y'all take baths with y'all sisters as y'all was kids? Or y'all siblings? I think it's about time to separate them. And I've done that, but I think it needs to be done permanently because they fight. They love each other one minute and then they fight the next. Alright guys, so where was I at? Okay, so anyways, take your medicine. Now if you take your medicine, I forget what it's called, but your medicine, and use this religiously. And once it passes, it'll feel so much better. And finally, for me, it got better. And here we are, we're still nursing. And I'm so glad I didn't get rid of my pump. I swear by Medela. I still feel like Medela is the best pump. I have had the Advent and all the other kind of stuff. But Medela, to me, is the only pump that really, truly will get all the milk out and relieve it. Just make sure that you do it the correct way. Because I act like I forgot, y'all. And I think that's what caused me to get into the situation I was in, too. But anyways, I am nursing. And people are saying, like, well, how long do you plan to nurse? My goal, I did it with Bella, I think, for 10 months. I don't remember. Probably got to go back to those videos. With Ava, y'all remember the situation I talked about. I didn't get to do it with her as long. I think it only lasted for, like, what, 4 months, maybe? And with little Nate, I plan on doing it for, like, a year. I'm hoping I can go a full 12 months. Alright, what else has been going on? Oh, I forgot the deets. So, I think it was a combination of a couple things. It was a combination of the medicine that I was taking, and it was a combination of the fact that everything was loose. And, I couldn't hold anything. Let's just say that. I couldn't hold nothing. Like, I had to go to the bathroom, I couldn't hold it. Like, my husband was like, God bless him. Let me tell y'all, in y'all's marriage or relationship, this is how you know when somebody really love you, because this is when it gets tested. Like, your vows say, for better or for worse, in sickness and in health, till death do you part. And it's gonna get tested now. It's going to get tested. Can you deal with that? Because it got tested. My husband had to see me in ways that was embarrassing to me, and I wish that he would not have had to see me, but he saw me in them, and it was a test because I was like, okay. And my husband held it down. He was like, listen, we gonna have to get you some Depends, y'all. It was bad. He's like, we're gonna have to get you some Depends because this is crazy. It was so bad, y'all. Like, it was so bad. Like, one time I had an accident. I couldn't hold it, y'all. Like, I tried to run up the steps and the thing is, we had a bathroom right there, and I ran up the steps, and I was like, I need to run up the steps, I gotta go. And it was just coming out. It wasn't staying. It was just coming out. And I could not hold it, and I had to. It was just messy, y'all. It was so embarrassing. But my husband was like, it's okay. And I was crying because I was like, what is happening? He's like, Jasmine, you just had a baby. Like, you just pushed out a daggone near 9-pound baby out and ripped up everywhere. And you're not going to be able to hold that. So he was like, I'm going to go get you whatever you need. My husband went and got me everything I needed. I cleaned up everything and myself, and he got me everything I needed, and he just held me. He was like, it's gonna be okay, you good. I was like, okay. And I'm better now. But I'm telling y'all, that was some stuff. I have never ever had that happen to me. But the medicine did not make it any better because you're so loose. I mean, you pushed out a whole baby. So now you gotta do all your exercise to tighten everything up. So make sure y'all do that. So that's another tip. Because I didn't have to do that with Bella or Ava. Like, I did not experience anything like that ever. So now I know. So I'm telling y'all, if you got a big baby or just period, make sure you do your Kegel exercises. As whenever you can, even if you feel like you can't feel nothing down there, just do your Kegel exercises, because you're going to need it, not just for, you know, so you can hold your pee and don't pee on yourself, but for you not to boo-boo on yourself and all of that stuff. I'm telling you, child labor is real, okay? So that's another tip of advice I will give y'all, mommies to be, if you're watching this, or mommies now who's watching this and they're like, I don't know what the hell's going on with my body. Let me see what else. That's about it, I think. It's been cool. Breastfeeding has been cool. He nurses every 2 to 3 hours, and I did have to do a couple bottles, so he's eating about 4.5 ounces, between 3.5 to 4.5 ounces, depending on how he feels. Other than that, I think a lot of people ask me about how is it to be a mom of 3, and that's going to be a whole separate video. A whole separate video that I'm going to have to do, because it's so much into that. So this video, like today is Saturday, and I'm going to just record a bunch of videos, and I'm just going to release them, and y'all can watch them, you know, whenever you have time or however you want to do it. But that's basically been it. I think I finally, now that we're into 2 months, I'm on a routine where I'm talking about, as far as me and baby boy, where we're finally gelling, you know what I'm saying? Like, in regards to my body healing, and, you know, okay, I've had my first cycle now, and my body is back to normal. You know, I'm not going through all of these personal items and stuff like that. Because I'll say I've also, like, my recovery with that lasted longer than it did with Bella and Ava. Like, I was like, what is going on? And, like, I hope I'm not torn up there or anything. And my balance has been off. Like, I fell down the steps, y'all. Like, this has been, this recovery has been crazy. Like, I fell down my steps. Like, I fell. Like, I don't even know how I fell. Like, I fell down a whole set of eight steps, and that was bad. And I'm like, oh my God, I hope I didn't rupture nothing on the inside. Like, it's just been crazy, y'all. Like, but now I feel like I'm finally back to my normal self. Y'all might have saw that I posted on Instagram that I was 191 pounds, and I finally got down to 146.6 last week. And now that I feel like my body is back to normal, I feel like I can start working out a little bit to try to get myself going, because I still feel loose. Like, down there in the areas of concern, not so much, but like my body, like, it feels off. Like, it don't feel tight, it feels loose. So as I can safely and with caution do, I'm gonna go as hard as my body will allow. I'm not gonna push myself beyond what I can do. I'm gonna start working out. I have been eating a lot healthier, doing my smoothies. You guys might have saw that. And keeping my calories up, because if you don't keep your calories up, you can cause your milk supply to go down. So that's another thing, you guys. When you are going through your recovery process, make sure, if you are nursing, that you're keeping your calories up and eating good calories. Now, here and there, treat yourself, because if you don't, you're going to relapse like a mug, like I did. You're going to eat everything wrong for you in sight. But make sure that you are keeping your calories up, but also eating healthy, because what you're eating, baby is eating. Make sure you drink plenty of water. Keep your water on deck. And I guess that's about it that I can remember in regards to my 2 months. If y'all guys have any questions about these 2 months, please feel free to ask them below, and I'll try my best to respond, or hit me up on Instagram and I'll try my best to respond. And one last thing, no, he's not sleeping through the night, not at all. And y'all know, like I said earlier, I am about to do the, you know, Operation Baby Sleep in Your Own Bed tonight. And so I know we're gonna be up, so it's just a part of it, and I need him to, because I'm gonna be going back to work soon. And I'm blessed to say that I've been able to have my full 16 weeks of maternity leave, and I love everything about it because I'm able to bond with him. But he's going to be going to daycare, and he's going to be sleeping in a crib on his back by himself. So I'm gonna have to get him adjusted to that. So that's basically it, guys. That's my 2-month update. A lot has happened. Thank you guys for sticking with me and watching my videos on, or sorry, my what the hell am I talking about? See, thank you guys for being my friend on Instagram and keeping up with me there and communicating with me there and just holding tight, because a lot of y'all could have checked the deuces a long time ago. And I have redid my Twitter account, and I am surprised that a lot of people are still on there, but they don't use the account. So if you are on Twitter, I do tweet now. It's kind of fun because I go there to vent, really. And if you care, you can follow me on there too. So I'll post both things, my Twitter and my Instagram below or at the end of the video or in the description box if you care to follow. But I'm mostly active on Instagram. That is where you'll catch the most up-to-date things, and on YouTube I will go into more detail about what's been happening during that time. Let's see, I guess that's about it. Anything else that I missed, I guess I'll cover next month. Alrighty guys, the kids are calling, gotta go.